August 21st, Shen's assistant Mui helps Fuko prepare for the mission. She says she can't tag along since she doesn't have an emblem, meaning she's not a member of the Round Table and can't participate. Shen informs Andy and Fuko about their suits and emblems. Suddenly, everyone receives an alert about a rogue UMA in the facility. Mui shares its powers and origins with Andy, Shen, and Fuko. After the UMA latches onto Mui, Fuko uses her Unluck abilities to save her. The UMA latches onto Andy's body, and before he can do anything, one of the members' machines zaps Andy and the UMA. The UMA calms down and decides to become Andy's servant. Fuko grants the UMA the name Clothy. The announcer states Undead earned points for his victory, raising him in the Union's ranks. A woman informs Nico and the others about another UMA that's wandering the streets of New York. The woman confirms it has ties to our protagonist's quest. We turn to Andy, fired up for the quest. Andy, Fuko, and Shen drive to Longing Town to complete a mission. Shen believes this has ties to their spoil mission, since the town is known for being rotten. After receiving a spooky transmission from folks who set up a barricade there, Shen asks Andy if he feels like he's up to the task. At night, Fuko tells Shen he'd love to assist him and Andy with the mission. Fuko says she wants to see if Apocalypse spoke the truth about this having a direct tie to a being known as Unrepair. She feels Unrepair could help her find a clue that'll help Andy achieve his self-dying dreams. As for Shen, he hopes to see the additional side of Andy's personality take shape during this mission. Andy and the others arrive at Longing. He uses his rocket launcher to blow a hole into its barricade, causing Spoil's zombie army to run out and attack them. Andy uses their truck to run them over and uses his abilities to finish the remaining zombies. However, he spots an unspoiled being and tells the others she can lead them to Spoil. Shen argues they should proceed with caution since Spoil may have already enacted their abilities since UMAs fight differently from negators like themselves. Andy pulls up his shirt and realizes he's been affected by Spoil's ability, unlike Shen and Fuko. Andy starts spoiling but learns that he can understand the spoiled woman's gibberish now. The woman tells Andy that if he marries her, she'll point him and his friends in Spoil's direction. While Shen reminds Andy not to kill Spoil, a boy notices them. Fuko follows the boy into an underground tunnel, but Shen tells her it'd be unwise to proceed. The boy and his friends tell Fuko and Shen they've been affected and should leave the town. Fuko jumps in Spoil's zone and hugs the boy, resulting in her getting cursed. Shen tags along. Meanwhile, Andy and the spoiled woman visit a church. The spoiled woman tells Andy she only wants to wear a wedding dress and asks him to put the others out of their misery. Also, she wants Andy to kill Spoil. Andy and Spoil fight. Andy asks the zombies to assist him in fighting Spoil. Meanwhile, Fuko introduces herself and Shen to the boy and learns he's named Ken. Ken explains how he and the other children survived Spoil's attack on Longing. Ken states Spoil arrived at Longing out of nowhere and used its ability to turn everyone into zombies. Thankfully, Ken's teacher took him and his classmates to this underground location where they'll be safe from Spoil's wrath. She promises she won't die until she marries someone. Unfortunately, she doesn't keep her promise and Spoil's upsetting Ken. Ken comforts his friend Mii, whose bodily numbers are decreasing quickly. Ken comforts Mii, reminding her of her dream to give their teacher numerous sunflowers. This act of kindness raises Mii's numbers, surprising Fuko. Ken begs Fuko and Shen to defeat Spoil. Fuko and Shen hear loud noises outside and spot Andy fighting Spoil alongside the zombies. Andy asks Shen and Fuko to look after his bride. Ken reveals that Andy's bride is their teacher and tells the others. While observing Ken and his friends' reunion with their teacher, a zombie bumps into Fuko. It rushes towards Spoil and collapses. Andy informs his zombie companions to touch Fuko. He says they'll turn into bombs capable of damaging Spoil. Fuko believes Andy's plan is absurd, since the zombies won't be willing to sacrifice themselves. However, Ken's teacher proves her wrong. She rushes over to hug Fuko, and Fuko removes her glove to ensure she receives as much of her unluck as possible. Ken tries to stop his teacher from ending her life, but Shen uses his ability to stop him. Ken's teacher sacrifices herself and explodes within Spoil's hand. It damages him a bit, but it isn't enough to defeat him. Shen tells the children to stay in the underground area, while Fuko starts touching the other zombies to spread more explosive unluck. Shen informs Andy that he and Fuko were infected by Spoil's curse. Andy suggests they murder Spoil instead of capturing it. Shen reminds Andy that they'll fail their mission if they go through with this plan. Suddenly, Spoil absorbs other zombies and changes its form. Spoil overwhelms Andy in its second phase and taunts Shen and Fuko. While Shen backs away for a bit, Fuko shares a heartfelt speech about dreams and never giving up. This allows Fuko to increase the number on her body, surprising Spoil. Shen returns and shares his dream with Spoil to increase his curse's number. Shen attacks Spoil with his cane. Shen informs Andy and Fuko that he knows how Spoil's abilities work and plans to use his staff to defeat Spoil. Shen mentions that Spoil may hold the key to allowing Shen to see someone. While Shen fights Spoil, Andy plans to set off more explosions in hopes of stopping Spoil's Spoil ability. After touching Fuko, Andy hopes more explosions will occur. Unfortunately, her Unluck triggers a small earthquake instead. This causes Andy to fall within the crack. Fuko believes they should try sending Spoil into space, and Shen thinks it's a stellar idea. He says he can lift Spoil and Andy into space, but Andy must find a way to withstand Spoil's abilities until he reaches that destination. Andy accepts under specific stipulations. Andy and Spoil head into space via Shen's staff, but give Shen the card. He always keeps lodged in his head. Fuko's worried since he told her if he removed it, he'd go off the rails. In space, Andy unleashes his newfound strength to combat Spoil. Andy slices Spoil up into pieces and retrieves his head. On Earth, Shen tells the kids to head in a different direction from them. He says the organization plans to rescue them and that he and Froko are staying behind to finish things. Andy returns to Earth with Spoil's core, and Shen tells Mui to ready the special beam. Shen welcomes Victor, who happens to be Andy's split personality identity. However, Victor prefers the name Victor A. Fuko touches Victor A, but her Unluck powers don't kick in. Before Victor A harms Fuko, Shen makes one last-ditch effort to protect her. The other Union members arrive to combat Victor A. After failing to subdue Victor A, the Union members plan to use other tactics to defeat him. Sparks escorts Fuko and Shen to a safe location, and Fuko thanks him. She asks him to return her to the battlefield, and Sparks refuses. Fuko asks Shen for Andy's card, and he gladly hands it to her and tells her to give it her best. Irritated, Sparks assists Fuko and the two engage in some banter. Meanwhile, the Union members continue fighting Victor, who is split into multiple copies of himself. Fuko pinpoints the real Victor in the crowd and lunges at him. She feels a huge stroke of Unluck is sure to follow. Once he weakens, she plans to stick Andy's card inside Victor's head to help him regain control over his body. Victor claims he's the original and that her plan will not succeed. Victor doesn't know why the Union members are protecting Fuko since it opened up another seat for them. Juice tells the others to defeat Victor's copies and protect Fuko. Fuko shoots Victor's scar with her gun and pokes her finger in the hole she created. She calls out to Andy, asking him to regain control over his body. Andy returns for a minute and kisses Fuko. He jokes that they'll pick this up later after the Unluck happens. Fuko informs the others that the Unluck will kick in soon, enticing them to escape. Shen arrives to keep Victor in his place as many meteors come crashing down on the battlefield. Nico uses his powers to shield everyone from the meteor's assault. Fuko returns to the battlefield and places Andy's card inside Victor's skull. We cut to August 31st. Fuko awakens with Andy at her side. She yells at him for not informing her about his plan, Victor, and for almost leaving her alone again. Andy thanks Fuko for not giving up on him and asks her to suit up so they can return to the Union roundtable. The two arrive and Fuko learns Andy moved up in rank because of the Clothy incident. The episode closes with Apocalypse preparing to inform everyone of their mission results.